Hey folks, you are here for one of three very distinct reasons since you are watching this video right now. Number one is you are brand new to CU. Thank you for joining the Camelot Unchained family, by the way, but you've read all this kind of crazy stuff about this whole cube thing, and you want to join in on the fun. So, this video, definitely for you. Number two, you're a current CU player, been around for a little while, but you cannot seem to figure out cube, and you've been trying and beating your head on your keyboard and then just throwing the keyboard and giving up and walking away from your computer. We don't want you to give up on Cube. You need to make cool things. That's what it's for, and you're in the right place here also. Camp number three is that you're here because you think I have the answer to your very specific problem. I'm not that good. I really appreciate it, really appreciate the thought, but I'm not that good, let's be honest. So this video might be for you, it might not be. We'll find out. But speaking of, what you're watching right now, my name is Trev, and you are here watching Cube 101. Hopefully, this little short video, well, relatively speaking short, will be able to kind of guide you through the basics of what Cube is in just two quick little sections we're going to go over. Now, if you're in the third camp, I already mentioned this first section is not for you. What we're going to do is we're going to be going over the basics of Cube. I mean, the UI, how to place blocks, etc., etc. And of course, the differences between the live game, aka version 4 of Cube, and version 3 of Cube, which is what I'm in right now because I'm actually in the Cube standalone right now. I'm not in the live game. So we're going to get started with section 1 of Cube with no more further ado. So the first thing you're going to notice is your character here standing on the island. Mind you, you're in a different area. I kind of moved away from the starter area. And the first thing you're going to see is we're going to move down to the bottom left here, and you're going to see a flashing cube right there. That means your UI is up and you are in live add remove mode. Click it once, everything goes away. Click it again, things are there again. Right above that, you obviously got your global chat. Above that, you have all your placement buttons and icons. Right here, of course, your screenshot button. Self-explanatory. Thought you could figure that one out without me. And then over here is really the heart and soul of Cube. This stuff here, yeah, okay, but over here, yeah, this is your baby over here. First thing you're going to notice is you got blocks and replace up here. Really simple. Blocks, this is where obviously you place everything. Replace is where, let's say you place something and you want to change it to a different looking texture, different material. We'll go into that one a little bit more later. But right now let's stick with blocks. So then you have your materials and shapes. Obviously click on the big square here and you can select all your different types of blocks. Cool. Easy. I know, right? Then you have 9 different types of blocks and you can start clicking them. And then you can see all the different types here, and then you see under recently used where all those different blocks appear. So if you're building something, it's very easy to switch back to a different block or different type, shape as you move along. Really useful when you're building. Underneath that, you have the blueprint section. Now you probably don't have anything if you're just starting out, but if you look at mine, I have a ton of things in here. And the reason for that is I've been doing this for a while. And you can see the little kind of different little pop-ups, little images of exactly what that looks like. This is really useful. Underneath that, you have 4 very important buttons: save, delete, copy, and paste. Save is when you're saving a blueprint. Delete is when you have one selected and you can delete it. Copy and paste is obviously where you copy something you built and you paste it. And underneath that, you have the drop light section. So here you can select all kinds of different colors and stuff, and you can drop the light. So here I'm going to drop a blue light. You can see it there. Typically, I don't really play with those too much. What I typically am playing with is I do drop a dim ambient light here. So whenever I'm inside of a building and it's gotten dark, you drop one of those, you can see everything inside the building. Now, I never use any of these because, yeah, look at how blown out that looks. Crazy. So, of course, the next thing is, how do I move in Cube? Well, it's like any other game. WASD to move you around, spacebar jumps, Obviously, you can hold down the left and right mouse buttons at the same time to move. Basic stuff. But there are a few little tricks here. If you hold down the shift button, you move very fast compared to normal, shift, normal, shift. So it moves you around very quick. 2, if you press the F button, gets rid of everything. It's like clicking that button in the bottom left. Press F again, you're back in cube. Alright. Now, the Mac Daddy, though, of all the buttons is the G button. If you press G, looks like nothing happened. Well, I'm going to hit the space bar and jump, and hey, I'm floating. Keep pressing space bar, keep going up. If you press the Q and E buttons, Q makes you go up, E makes you go down, hold down shift. Oh, look at that. You move very quickly. Also, if you just noticed, I can go through the island, I can go through buildings and everything else on the island now. That way it's very useful when you build. So, press G again, you come back to normal mode, and I can no longer run through buildings. See, cannot do it. Press G, walk right through. Press G again, can't do it. So, obviously, very powerful thing. It's called fly mode. Used to be /fly, no longer need the command. So now let's get down to it. Let's place blocks. So we're going to go change our stone to this little tan one here. And we are going to place it. Now, one thing to note, though, that I wanted to call out. Under Beta 1 Building, there's an awesome forum post by Shava, who is a great guildie of mine, who is way smarter than me, and actually wrote down everything that's currently available in the live game versus what's available in Cube. So not all of these materials are currently available in the actual game. Really important to know that, because, well, if you start building something and that material isn't in the live game, it just doesn't get built, which is terrible. Do all that hard work and, you know, nothing happens. So we're going to select that, and I just going to click somewhere down here on the ground, right here, and I'm going to left click once. Now you're going to see that we have the X, Y, and Z planes available to us now, where we can, you know, drag and move stuff around. If you notice, when you drag and you're holding it down, you see that it moves, and you have the little icon on there that tells you how many cubes you've moved. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this out. Let's go with 25 cubes by 25 cubes. Make a little square there. And you notice, though, that it doesn't quite cover everything on the bottom. So we're going to grab the bottom here and pull it down 1. And then we're going to go up, oh, let's say we're going to go up to 5 now total. Because that is the total, by the way. Adds everything. And you know what, that should be good there. You know, we don't have grass poking through. It's good, but it's still pink. It's not set yet. So what you do is you press the number 1. You can either click here, but I personally use the 1 button. Correlates. And there you go. Bam, built. Built my first section. Now, whenever I build, I typically build on a raised platform a little bit, even if it's just 1 block high, so everything is even. The reason I do that, that way I can just copy the bottom layer of whatever I built and I can just repeat it down into the ground. But everything's started level, so it's a lot easier to build. You're not having to worry about, oh, well, is everything the same height and did I miss anything? No, it's just really easy to copy and paste below. But, you know what, I decided I don't want it to be 5. You know what, I think it only need to be 4 high here. So what I'm going to do is hit the tilde button, or the accent button, and you're going to notice I went from a block here that sticks off the edge to a pink highlight. So this is called the select/delete mode. This is place mode, this is select/delete mode. I want to click, and you see the same stuff comes up again, X, Y, and Z, and I want to select everything here. And you see you can go off the page here with this one also, off further than the blocks. And I'm going to delete this. Now, just like placing blocks, you press 1, and that confirms your delete. There you go. You know what? I think I should only keep it at 5. That seems too small. So I'm going to press the 2 button. That is undo. It moves you back 1 step at a time. Bam. 2. And it will go a long way back, by the way, guys. This thing has a long memory. And now looking at it again, you know what? I think 4 was the right option. So now I'm going to press the 3 button, or you can click it there, and I'm going to redo what I just did again. So now, bam, we're done. And I have my nice little flat plane to start on. So I'm going to press the G button so I can float up to the top. And you know what? I think looking at this, I really do need it to be 5 high. So I'm going to press 2, and I'm going to go back to 5 high here. So here I am on top, and I want to build something on top of this platform. So I'm going to switch over here to this stone block up here. And I'm going to build, a 3 by 3 by 5, just rectangle box. I'm going to press 1 to confirm that, and there you go. Oh, look at that. I built something on top of it. I am officially a cube builder. Go me. So I'm going to go to add select mode though, or sorry, delete select mode. And I'm going to highlight this block. And I'm going to copy and paste it. Now, in the live version of the game, you have to use the copy paste buttons over here. You absolutely have to use those. In Cube proper, you can use C and V like you would on a lot of other programs to copy and paste. So I'm going to actually use the buttons here, though. I'm going to hit copy, then I'm going to paste. And there you go. See, there it is. Bam, right there. And I'm going to paste it right here. But you know what? I'm going to drag it over, and then I have it where I want it, and press 1, and it will drop it right there. 1 again, bam. But you know what? I want to put 1 on top. But you see how it's not exactly going where I want it to? Well, that's okay. I'm going to left click once, and now you're going to see that it comes up with the X, Y, Z. Well, when you're in this mode, before you confirm the selection, if you use the arrow keys, you can see that I can move it around 1 block at a time to wherever I want it. And then if you use the home or the N keys, it moves it up and down respectively. So I can get it with really precise control exactly where I want anything. And now I'm going to press 1 to confirm that change. Now you're going to notice though, every time I go from select mode back to add mode, I'm stuck with this block, this rectangle. Well, I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a block again, go to select mode, come back out of select mode again. Now you see I'm back to just a single cube. That's how you quote unquote wipe the memory of cube when you're in a build. So now we know how we're going to copy blocks, we know how we're going to paste blocks, we know how we can manually adjust things to where it's exactly where we want it. We've been in add select mode. Well, let's build something a little bit more interesting. I'm going to build, just a T here. So I'm going to go up 5, then I'm going to build right here, I'm going to go over 2, and then 5 total. So I made a cross, basically. Great. Well, you know what? I've decided I kind of want to add a little bit of flair here, so I'm going to add some blocks. Well, you see the 45 here. You saw me rotating it. That's what 4, 5, and 6 do. 4 rotates along the x-axis, 5 rotates it along the y-axis, and 6 rotates it along the z-axis. So I'm going to place that there. Then I'm going to rotate it with number 4 along the x-axis, 4 again, and 4 again. And then place it with a 1 button each time. So there you go. Kind of looks like a Celtic cross now. Well, you know what? I think I want to use that, and I want to use that throughout my build. So I'm going to select it by going to select mode, the whole thing, and I'm going to hit save over here. And I'm going to save it as Celtic cross, and hit OK. Now I'm going to get out of add delete mode, and I'm going to find that blueprint. For you, it should be really easy. Now it always defaults to the very bottom, by the way. And now I click on it, and look at that. I can place it anywhere. I can rotate it, I can flip it around, I can do whatever I want to it. Now one thing to note though is the 7, 8, and 9 buttons. What they do is they mirror the image entirely. So in this case, here let's do something crazy. We're going to rotate this, we're going to add it to the side here. Then I'm going to mirror it on the other side. Make it come out 1. press 1, and there you go. I can do all kinds of crazy things with that now, whatever I feel like. So now you know that these 3 down here mirror everything. You know how to move things around, undo, redo, etc., create a blueprint, everything else. And then you can, of course, delete the blueprint if you decide you no longer want it. Now, one last thing to do, though, is let's say, you know what, I don't want this to be this block. I really don't like it this color, so I'm going to go to Select Mode. And I want to change just this section to something else. So you see I'm already in that right block mode, and I want to change it to this wood here. So I'm going to select what I want to change it to, hit Replace, get out of Select Mode, and there you go. Bam. Quick, easy. Could do that for the whole thing if I felt like doing that. So now you can see, very easy to start building. And that's basically the entire first section. So now we're going to delete this whole little table here. Go to fly mode there. And we are now officially into section 2. You've learned all the basics. Congratulations, you are now well on your way to building. But I'm sure you want to build something a little bit more interesting than just rectangles and a Celtic looking cross with me. So we're going to do just that. I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to create a little raised platform again. In this case, so let's do 10 by 30. And we'll move this up 4 high. There we go. Really basic. Now, I'm going to teach you a few things. In fact, we're going to make this bigger than that. We're going to bring this out. We're going to make this, so we're going to make it, let's just make it 30 by 30 total. Alright, so I'm going to load my little platform here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to make circles, because I have heard this from everybody and their mother. They want to learn how to make circles. And we're going to need it for what we're going to do later. So to make a circle, we're going to utilize several things. Certain different types of blocks, and of course, copy and paste feature. So first thing is I'm going to drop 2 normal size blocks here, then another 2, then 1, then 1, then 2, then 2. Now right now, not really like a circle. Trust me, I know. I'm going to select this as are called the 3060 blocks here. You see that it takes 2 of them to make the angle. And of course I'm going to make it to where it lines up here. And I'm going to put them right here and here. Then get my 45-degree block out. And I'm going to place them here and here. Alright. So, built a quarter, basically, of this thing. I'm going to add that there, those 2 there, so now you can kind of see the quarter of a circle. Now, you're also going to notice underneath this, you're going to see some weird artifacting. Well, I want to go back into this brick here, and I'm going to pull out the 45-degree block. This is something well known with Cube, that artifacting like this will happen, and texture foul-ups, whenever you use the larger 60-degree block here. So what you do is take a 45-degree block like this, and you put it underneath, or behind, or whatever the case may be, that larger block, and select. And now, you can see that all those texture issues are now miraculously gone. So that's something some people do not know how to fix, but it's a very quick and easy fix and definitely worth your time. So I'm going to go into select mode. I'm going to copy all of this. Then I'm going to paste it. I'm just going to rotate it around and drop it in. And the reason I'm selecting the base with it also is because I did the fix to that base already. And there we go. Now look, you have a circle. Easy, right? Easy peasy. And of course, depending on how many blocks you put in this, depends on how big it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the whole thing. Paste. 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 And paste some more, and now you can start seeing that it becomes a much bigger circle. Okay, so you've seen kind of how to do the wonderful circle. If you want to select more of it at once, which is what I typically do, I add a couple layers. Then I'll just select more, and make sure I actually select it all is helpful. Copy, paste, and then one fell swoop, you double the size of it. And there you go. So you can imagine that for a keep or a tower or something where you have a circular design. And yes, it is a circle, or as close as the one as we can do right now in version 3 of Cube and version 4. So that's a wonderful way to do it. So you guys now know how to make a circle. Very happy with you guys. Well, we're going to build one more platform here. And remember, to get out of where it's stuck, you select another cube size, another cube, and you build up. And then you go back to delete mode. So I want to build a wall. And we're going to do it like a building. So we're going to add a doorway to it. Whenever I build any, well, literally any wall, basically, it's kind of, the unwritten rule is about 10 cubes high from floor to ceiling on the interior. So I'm going to do 10 cubes high. And there you go. You see it's 1 thick. Now, here's some sage wisdom from Trev. Always make your builds too thick. All the walls too thick. The reason for it, really simple, is for any artifacting or anything, if there's any issues like that, you can cover it up on one side and it won't show up on the other. Because let's say I had an issue here and I needed to put one of the 45 blocks here. Well, on this side it might look great because you see, it's covered up on this side. Don't see any artifacting, but on this side, you see right through the hole. Kind of a problem, wouldn't you say? Oh. So we're going to always build it 2 cubes thick. Now, first thing I always do is figure out where I need my door at. In this case, we're going to build it just right here. One thing to note is that you can't see how far out unless you do 1, 2, 3. So if you select out a little bit further, you can select exactly how thick. You can actually see how far out your thing is going. Now, doors always need to be at least 6 cubes wide and, 8 cubes high because of giant classes. So you see that I only did it 6 cubes high here at this point. Well, there's a reason for that. Trust me, I have reasons. I'm not entirely crazy, just mostly. We're going to build there, and then right here. So now we're actually as high as we need it to be, which is good news for us. So, built a little doorway here. Now, it's wider than it really needs to be, but this is for like a keep or something. Now, you can make them, like I said, minimum 6 wide. This is 8 wide here. And then I'm going to grab my 4060 block here because I'm going to kind of make an arched doorway. Really great looking thing to do. So we're going to do an arched doorway. Place a couple blocks here and there. And there's that half of it. Now I'm going to go up and over. I'm going to select all that, and then I'm going to press C to copy. Or if you're in the actual live game, do hit the copy button. Paste it. Mirror it over with, in this case, it is, I do believe, the 8 button, sorry. And I'm going to make sure it goes right in place there. And there you go, bam. always try to mirror anything you can and make it easier on yourself, because a cube does take a long time if you don't. Shortcuts are great. So now I have my nice little doorway here. Looks nice. It's kind of the right size. It'd be great for a fortress. So definitely a giant class would not get stuck in this door because it's definitely high enough. And of course wide enough, honestly, for 2 people to go in and out. So it's great for something like a keep or something of that nature. So I want to, though, decorate it, because right now this is really boring. It's just a flat wall. The next thing that I'm going to teach you about are called layering. Layering is huge. Basically, I'm not talking about having two layers deep of cubes here. I'm talking about layering. You build a basic structure, and then you start adding stuff on top of it to make it look nice. So in this case, I want it to look a little bit prettier. So I'm going to add a little bit of a trim to it. Now remember the trick to get rid of that. Select a cube, and then go in and out of add fleet mode. So I'm going to drag it over here. And you know what? I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to delete that there, and I'm going to drag this all the way up here, and you'll see why later. And then same thing here. And I really want this thing to look really cool. So I'm going to make it, oh, let's see, I'm going to make it, let's go with 3 high here. And I want it to look really cool, so I'm going to add a little bit of quote-unquote flair to it. So I'm going to add these blocks here. I'm going to add a block right here. Kind of give it a curved look, but you're going to see that, hey, look, there's artifacting. In fact, I can see all the way through. So we're going to go to the same material that we used for the wall. Remember, we're going to use the 45-degree block. We're going to get it to be kind of the fit that goes in there. They're going to push that in, press 1, and now that's fixed our issue. Now we're going to go back over here. Select that block there, and we are then going to flip this one around, and we're going to go all the way through. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go quote unquote all the way through, and we're going to kind of continue that all the way around. So I'm going to replace the stuff we did originally with this. That way it kind of fits, it goes through, and it keeps the same motif. So you're not seeing this stone on the outside, then you're seeing this inner wall inside. It doesn't look very good when you do that. So then we're going to do this little bit here, this bit here, and you're going to notice I'm going to stop halfway through. If you haven't figured out yet that I'm lazy and I'm going to mirror this, well, you think a lot higher of me than I think of myself. Now to do this in the exact opposite way, though, remember you've got to build up and out like this, and you've got to kind of do everything backwards. And then remember, you see you got the issue there. I'm going to push this into that spot and fix that issue. So there we go. We've got our nice little build there. And now I'm going to select all of it, going to copy it, going to paste it, and now I'm going to flip it. And then you notice, though, I didn't quite copy enough now, did I? So we're going to go up. We're going to select the whole thing pretty much at this point. And we're going to select all the way back, copy, paste, flip. Now you're going to notice that it's 1 cube out. So now I'm going to have to push it in, press 1 to confirm the change. And now, very quickly, you've got a door here. Now the other quick thing you can do is you can build up. You can grab all of this, copy it, paste it, whoops, flip it around, and you can place it right there, and now your doorway matches front and back. But you're going to notice we've got an error there. Well, that's mainly because when I selected all of that, I went a little too far. And now I've got to go back through and put these blocks in there. But just like that, congratulations, you have built your first little wall here. And you've even got some round corners on it. You've got this nice little thing going on there. You can go select, let's say you want to add, let's add some shingles to it. We'll use these. I'm going to use the 45-degree block here. Turn it. I'm going to push this out a little bit. And I'm going to select it all the way across. Press 1 to start. And go on the back side, all the way across. And now that I've done that, I want to copy this because now I can very easily and quickly copy, paste, and you can see that I can just start stepping it up. Basically the same thing you do with stairs, except the top block here would be a basic cube, just a square block. You're going to notice though that we have holes back here, so what you do is you go to whatever material that is there. You're going to build it up into there just enough to cover that. Same thing on this. And just like that, you have a wall. Nice entrance. Nice little roof that you got built up there. And it's the beginning of a barracks or whatever you want it to be. So you now know how to do some basic doorways, basic exterior. So you are on your way to starting cube. So basically over time you're going to start with things like this. You're going to start playing with it, working on it. It does take time, takes some ingenuity, and it's just something like anything else. You practice, the more you practice, the better you get. Because eventually you start building things like this. And then you start building keeps that have everything inside of them. And that is the point. Whoop. So now you can actually see through the whole thing. You can see that this is actually a full cube build that you can actually run through the whole thing. You can see everything that's built in here, the stairs, spiral staircases, so on and so forth. All the way to like a little throne room. And that's what you want to get to. You want to keep practicing cube until you can build a keep and things like that that actually work for you. And it all starts with this stuff. Hopefully you learned some stuff today. That you need to layer things, about how to make circles, how to basically use cube in general. If you guys like the video, hopefully you did. I'm going to start putting out some more of these if you like them, but a little bit more. That was different. Anyway, so some really interesting builds and things like that, and hopefully over time you guys can ask me what you guys kind of want to learn to build, spiral staircases, things like that. Now the other thing that I do want to mention though before we part today is that there's two types of building. There's called additive building and reductive building. Additive building is what we just did today, where we build from scratch, we add parts to it, and we keep building and building. Reductive building is where you take a block and you start really taking away because you start chipping away. So let's say you want a building that kind of roughly looks like, this here. You kind of know that's kind of the rough shape you want. And then you start removing parts to start, you want a kind of a curved side here, and you want this down here. You want this to be a ledge up here, so you're going to get rid of a little bit of this. And you start taking away and chipping away at it until you have the type of build you want. This is not how I do it, but that's how I know some very successful builders, Necromaniac, I believe, being one of them, who uses reductive building like that. Some people that works for them. For me, I like additive building. I like starting from scratch and building up. So, got some tips, got the kind of the learning curve hopefully kind of got lowered a lot today. Like I said, post below here, see if you like the things, if you liked what you saw today on on Cube 101. Hopefully I'll be back with some other things, some other tips, some other quick videos that you guys can watch. It'll be a little shorter than this one. It's been a pleasure helping you guys out today. My name is Trev. You can find me in game as Treville. And if you need any help, please feel free to ask Swazi, S-W-A-Z-I, for any help. Swazi, okay? Ask him. I love you, Swazi. You guys have a great day, alright?